Welcome to the 17th edition of the annual gaming industry event in Amsterdam, organized by Kalff Katz Franssen and the IMGL.
As president of the IMGL, the International Masters of Gaming Law, it's our pleasure to join with Kalff Katz Franssen once again to put this event on. It forwards our mission of bringing quality education in the gaming industry, in this case here in the Netherlands.
Welcome on behalf of KKF and the IMGL to all delegates and speakers today on the 17th edition of the annual gaming industry event. This should have been the 19th edition, but for obvious reasons we had to take a 2-year break. So it's great that finally the casinos and the arcades are back open again. The Dutch agenda was, however, completely dominated, of course, by the opening of the online gambling market. Not only was the road to regulation lengthy, but it was also twisty. And think about, for instance, the forced market exit in September of last year, when we had a blackout. And I expressed my wish that the industry bodies, VNLK, NOGA and VAN, take the responsibility to come up with proper self-regulation, popularly known as the ROC. That should come quickly, it should have been here on the 1st of April, it's not there, that's really bad for business. We have seen in other member states the effects of an industry not being united properly, it will backfire. So a call to action for you guys.
Thank you, Justin.
So the IMGL has an education mission. That's our one and sole and fundamental purpose. I wanted to add one more thing, and it was something that Justin said that really tripped something in my mind. And it's a call out to the industry globally. It's not the Dutch industry, it's the global industry. The gaming industry has to recognize that it has to work with the government, it has to work inside the political structure, and it has to work with the media.
René Jansen, it's an honor to have you back for the 3rd time. I think in sports terms they call that a hat-trick.
Thank you very much, Justin. We now, at this moment, have 18 license holders for online gambling. But this is by no means the end of the road. We recently published our annual report, in which we also reported on the initial developments on the online market. The report includes a chart that shows legal activities crowding out illegal activities to a very significant extent from the 1st of October. And that is exactly what we wanted to achieve. The aim of the law, after all, is to take place away from illegal operators and direct or channel them to the legal market.
It's now early April 2022, and at this moment we have about 30 license applications at the office. So I think later on this year we might end up with something like 28 to 35 licenses. Another important element for this year will be to combat illegal offering, illegal operators. And maybe we'll have some fines later on this year, but that I think will be the second half of the year.
May I now kindly ask to come to the stage Fedor Meerts. Fedor works at the Ministry of Justice, Department of Gaming.
So that's why our minister has announced that he will introduce a ban on the use of role models. I think you've already seen and heard about that, which is something we are currently working on, which should be implemented actually quite quickly within the next, I guess, 2.5 months. But of course, that is also in a balance with the discussion about advertisement. Less advertisement can also have an impact, of course, on channelization.
Well, first of all, as I also said during my speech today, I think what we've seen is quite an abundance of advertisements, not just in the volume, but also in the way they were made, so the content. So that's why our minister has decided to take a few steps. My expectation is the end of June. If you look at the calendar, which will ban the use of role models for high risk gambling. After that, we will look into additional legislation, so the higher legislation. We will look at restricting untargeted marketing. What we're aiming for is to have the first draft ready for consultation before the summer. So that would be, I assume, in July. Realistically, it will take well, at least half a year after that before it will be at Parliament. Realistically.
After listening to the discussion, it's very clear that if the industry doesn't get out in front, work with the political establishment and the regulators, that the industry will get left behind and have to suffer through more and ever increasing regulation.
At the very end, we had a very interesting debate with René Jansen, chairman of the Gambling Authority, and Fedor Meerts of the Ministry of Justice. And what is crystal clear that regulation is coming, especially in relation to advertising. We will see advertising restrictions coming our way.